Okay.
Good question.
Yeah. So the myth was there's no place for lawyers in mediation. And so if you use mediation, can you still have a lawyer? That's how I phrased the question.
Yes. So, I am a non-attorney mediator. There are many, many attorney mediators out there. But unfortunately, if they are attorney mediators and they have their mediator hat on, they cannot give legal advice to their clients. But they do have the resources within their firm to have outside counsel or to have different kind of referrals and those kinds of things within their firm. Now, as a non-attorney mediator, I really do suggest that they at least have a consultation, each of them, with an attorney in order to ask those legal questions that I cannot provide the answers for. Even if I knew the answers, I'm not allowed to give them those kinds of advice. So yes. Now, as far as the mediation process, I know some mediators don't mind having the attorneys in the room with them during the process, especially if they're attorney mediators. They know how the lingo works, they know how to handle them. Personally, consult with your attorney, call your attorney, ask questions as much as you want, take your agreement to your attorney if you feel like that's something that you would like them to review before you sign it. But I don't have the attorneys present during the mediation process itself.
What's the best way to involve the attorney? Would you recommend that they, or maybe it's all of the above, maybe do they say before you come to mediation, go ask your legal questions to an attorney so you can come in with a legal foundation education so you can make informed decisions? Or do they go to their attorney during the process if things come up, or after they've mediated and we've put that down on paper, put the agreements? At any of those times would be fine times to take it. And
there's never a time where I'm going to say, oh, you're not allowed to go to an attorney after this point.
Right.
So I want them to feel like they have that option, but are able to retain control of the process, that they are in charge. They're at the wheel of this mediation agreement. But again, like I said, so much more can happen, and that feeling of being in control is easier to have when the attorneys aren't present during the actual mediation, when we're talking and agreeing and asking the questions and going back and forth. But the attorneys are always, I will send whatever you want me to send to your attorney. I send out letters, summary letters after each mediation session to remind you what we talked about, what we agreed on. And those can also go to your attorney if you feel like that you want them to look at those as well. So yes, they are allowed to be the entire way, before you come in, during the process, after the agreement is finished. You need to have that representation so you feel like you're making the best decisions you can. So what happens if parties come in, they mediate, they come to an agreement, they go off to their individual attorneys to say, hey, is this in my best interest? And attorney advises them otherwise. Have you had that happen? And yes,
how did you?
I have had that happen. And the attorney called, and I was able to talk to them and let them know, with the confidentiality agreement in place, the parties gave me permission to let the attorneys know what we had come to agree. And it was just one particular point that they were worried about. And after we had a conversation and I talked about the session itself, they understood that this was probably the best for the client. Obviously, they go right to their law books and to the statutes and everything that's in place, and they want to protect their client, but they understood that this probably was the best for this particular situation.
Given the whole global agreement.
So I have had that, not very often, but I think that if an attorney is always happy, I'm willing to meet with them, always get permission from the parties first because of the confidentiality part of mediation. But I find that most attorneys, if their clients feel like they are happy with this and this is something that they really feel good about, the attorney's going to be okay.